The University of Arizona, located in the heart of Tucson. Truthfully, it is the heart of Tucson. It has nearly 30,000 undergraduates and a reputation worldwide as a great school. Every year, students come from all over to test their wings and take the next step in becoming adults. For some, that step includes exploring their sexual identity. Luckily, they can look to Jen Hoefle and the team at the LGBTQ Affairs office on campus for guidance and support. I spoke with Jen recently to talk about some of the marvelous programs she helps to coordinate. Jen, thanks for talking with us.
Absolutely, I'm happy to be here.
Now, tell us, what is your job here at the university?
I am the program director for LGBTQ Affairs, so lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and questioning affairs.
And what does that involve?
Sure, so the mission of the office is, I will read it to you, it's
okay.
quite lofty in scope, is to work directly with students to build, sustain, and strengthen a safe, inclusive, and open environment for students, faculty, staff, appointed professionals, alumni, parents, and guests of all gender identities and sexual orientations.
Okay.
Some of our signature programs are, I run an internship program along with Pride Alliance. Pride Alliance is one of our largest student organizations and has one of the longest histories. And they're the only student organization that I directly advise as the program director. And so we have partnered to be able to offer students an opportunity to get credit to plan a variety of events. And so our interns actually plan everything from our Welcome Week events. We do like Wildcat Welcome stuff at the beginning of both the fall and spring, a queer film series, an LGBTQ specific health and wellness series. We do a whole host of activities around Coming Out Day, and we do like a Coming Out Week. We do Transgender Awareness Week in November, kind of leading up to the International Transgender Day of Remembrance, and that's something that we worked on for many years. So Day of Silence in the spring. We do a second chance prom in the spring, and then one of our largest events, which I know because I saw you there, was our rainbow graduation.
Yep. Do you have any idea of the basic number of LGBTQ students that are enrolled yearly?
Yeah, it's an important question and one I don't have an answer to because it's not a demographic that we track as an institution. And I think that has everything to do with the fact that we're not a federally protected class of people. Okay. So there's problems with tracking if you don't have protections, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's not something that the institution has tracked. What I have found is that, for example, Campus Health does an annual health and wellness survey, and they have started to track LGBTQ participants, and they have found that their response rate is about 5%. And so I think that that's a pretty safe estimate. And so that's, just under 2,000 students. Right. So we have a very rich kind of LGBTQ student life here on campus. We have Pride Alliance, which I mentioned. We have Delta Lambda Phi, which you've mentioned, which is our progressive male fraternity. We have a group named Sprite, which originated out of the residence halls, but has since become a recognized club. And then we have some graduate student groups. So we have Pride Law, which is obvious, and Med Pride, which is also obvious.
What brought you to this campus?
Yeah, well, I was actually working on campus when I got this position. I was formerly the program director for social justice programs. So in that capacity, I was actually advising Pride Alliance and the Women's Resource Center and doing a host of other responsibilities. As a queer person, I definitely have a personal passion for serving my community. I already had a lot of relationships with the students here, and truly this is really a dream position for me. And so when it opened up, I absolutely had to throw my hat in the ring.
You mentioned a welcome week that you do. Mm-hmm. Let's find out more about that.
Yeah, so well, the university as a whole has what we call Wildcat Welcomes. We're welcoming all of our new Wildcats. And we feel that it's really important to offer kind of some specific LGBTQ Welcome Week activities. Because, of course, when students are coming here, they're trying to find community. And this is an enormous campus. And it's hard if you don't find kind of your niche. Like, you have to find a place and a group of people that feels like your people. And so we do a couple things. One of the things we do as Pride Alliance and LGBTQ Affairs is we host just an LGBTQ pizza party, and we actually do it up here in the Center for Student Involvement and Leadership. and we invite all of the student organizations that I talked to you about. We also invite our academic counterparts, so the Institute for LGBT Studies, Outreach, which is our faculty staff advocacy group, and then of course our community partners, so Wingspan and SAFE and THON and PFLAG, and give them information about resources. We have a vibrant queer community here in Tucson, and so they often have no idea what they've stepped into. And so I feel that it's so important to both connect them on campus, but also connect them to Tucson. Another event that we've done in the past is, we call it a 5 under 25 panel, and we've basically invited recent LGBTQ alumni who are 25, so they're close to the age of incoming students, that reflect on their time at the U of A, what really worked for them, what they would have done differently, and it just gives them an opportunity to hear from people who are close to their peer group, but just like that next chapter up. Unlike me, I'm in my mid-30s and I'm kind of in a different point in my life, and so while I have a lot of energy and I can relate to them, I am in a different place, and so that's been a really great event.
What other parts of the LGBTQ community on campus do you want us to know about?
Well, I might share just a couple of the other programs that we do, which I haven't mentioned yet. So kind of the signature programs coming directly out of my office are the intern program, and then those students plan all of the events that we've been talking about. We have a couple other things. We have a weekly support group, which is, the simplest thing that we do, but I would say by far the most important in the sense of meeting the needs of students who aren't necessarily ready to come to a film or to come to a social event. I definitely encounter students, undergrad, grad students, staff and faculty as well, who are in the coming out process, and those of us who are out, we know that is a process, and it's not always an easy process. And so the support group is a place, it's a program that we've collaborated with our CAPS, which is our counseling and psychological services on campus. So we have kind of trained therapists who are there, and then myself, and we co-facilitate it. That's the program that I hear from students. If it weren't for this group, I don't know where I'd be right now. I don't know that I'd be here right now. And then the other big program we do is Safe Zone, and that's our training program. It's a 4-hour training program to prepare people to be effective allies for LGBTQ people. And so it's 2 2-hour trainings. We do a general education, which is like an LGBTQ 101, and then we do an ally development workshop. And once folks have gone through both of those workshops, they get a placard that basically identifies them as a safe zone on campus. And we've actually put like over 640 people through those workshops in the past year. We've grown that. That was the one program that when I took this position, my boss said very clearly that I want you to revitalize and revamp the curriculum and really grow that program. So I think that we do a lot to make the U of A a safe place. And part of what we're finding through some of the assessment we've done of the impact of Safe Zone particularly is that it translates into a feeling of safety for students, for LGBTQ students. But the other component of that is, when we look at like the data from the Health and Wellness Survey, and I'd have to grab it to really give you specific numbers, but we do see that there is still violence and against the LGBTQ community that's happening on campus. And it's happening at a much higher rate for LGBTQ students than it is for our heterosexual counterparts. And so, yes, it feels safe, and yes, there's still work to do.
What makes you satisfied to do your job?
Well, working with students. It's inspiring to work with students who care as much as the students that I work with care. One of the really big successes of the past year that I'm very excited about is we will be launching a Pride community in our residence halls in the fall. So it launches this fall. We're currently accepting applications for it. And it's essentially, like a themed wing within one of our halls that is for LGBTQ and allied residents. And what's exciting is that, we have half the spots filled right now, and a handful of the applicants are allies, which is really exciting because it's intended to be a space that's accepting of anyone who is comfortable knowing that the explicit theme of this wing is to create a safe space for LGBTQ and allied people.
Good. Well, thank you very much.
Absolutely, Ernie. It was my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Great. I'm glad we did this.